Hi, Royal Ones. Jasmine here, welcoming you to Soul Filling with Inspire Fire, where you can get your life and the conversation is lit. We talk wellness, relationships, happiness, and even share our personal stories. Like, comment, and share if we say anything that resonates with you.
Hey guys, welcome to Soul Filling. It's Tiffany,
Jasmine, aka Kobe.
And Jasmine, aka Jazz.
and today we are talking about rejection.
Rejection.
Yes. To reject someone means to refuse to grant that person recognition or acceptance, to discard that individual as worthless. It means to turn away by not accepting, receiving, or considering.
Ouch, been there.
Yes.
Yikes. And nobody wants to experience that. That's just an icky feeling. And there's even studies that shown the same area of our brain becomes activated when we experience rejection, just as we experience physical pain. So in other words, when we're experiencing these rejection moments of our life, it feels just equally as bad to us internally as if we were to stub our toe or to get cut by a knife.
I feel that because I be feeling like after I get rejected in any kind of way, I feel like I've literally been punched in the chest, and I'm just like,
Yes. Right.
why can't I breathe right now? Why is my throat all clogged up? So
Exactly.
So what we're going to discuss today is how to overcome that rejection, or how to deal with rejection properly, because a lot of times we get really swamped and like stay in that rejected state, but we ain't about that life.
We're not about that life. So y'all want to like go through and give examples of how we all each experience rejection and then solutions?
Sounds good.
All right. Who's going to go for it first?
Well, I guess I'll go for it.
Tiffany.
Well,
How do you experience rejection, Tiffany?
I've been rejected in so many ways. I mean, if it's coming to jobs, come to men, sometimes comes from family on a very minuscule way. But recently, let's just talk about being rejected by a man.
We've been there. We've all been
We
there.
all been there. I've been rejected by men a lot of times, though. So
I can't say the same. No,
Everybody ain't got it like you, Jazz. They ain't got it like you.
we ain't got the juice.
Nah, y'all got to concentrate. Y'all are the juice masters. But anyway, we'll talk about
Okay,
the
when I
one
said a lot, I didn't mean a lot. I mean like 2 since college.
Okay. So how did that experience go?
Three since college. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so recently, I like to be pursued, but I stepped out of myself to ask someone else to hang out, because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just do what I want. You know, I'm not gonna let fear stop me from asking someone else to hang out with me. Basically, the person said yes, but in hindsight, well, in reality, he stood me up. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm never doing that again. Like, I'm not, okay. So I was like, okay, I got it. I'm to not pursue anyone. And if someone really wants me, that they're going to make the effort. Like, so many other guys have.
Exactly. So many.
But it's like when you really like someone, and it seems like everything, you're really compatible with them. And it seems like in your mind, you think everything's going to be good. And then you get rejected in that sort of way, you're just like left to dry. Especially like when they kind of lead you on.
So that's why I ask guys though. I'm just like,
right.
I just don't even do it. I just let them pursue.
I know. Why I ain't talk to y'all before I did that?
Now you should have texted me.
Right. I already knew what y'all was gonna say, and I just wanted to be on the low, trying to be
True. Now you be feeling confident. The time you're like, I'm just not gonna approach this person.
right. I ain't doing that no more.
But no, never.
But anyways, that's my small, minuscule way of me feeling rejected. But that shit hurt.
So I have a question. So it hurt you. So I was just about to say, how did it make you feel?
It hurt. It felt like I was saying earlier, it felt like somebody just busted me in my... You know what? It really threw me off because I'm like, I just messed up my weekend because I'm over here thinking about you and why you not texting me back and we had already made plans, you know? So, like, I go out my way to make sure that our time together is our priority. While I'm putting everything else on the back burner, when I could have been I could have had a full day instead of worrying about you. and trying to make time for you. So that it hurt that, and it's like, okay, you could have just told me, like, I'm gonna be busy, so I could make sure. Okay, well, let me spend time with my family. Let me work on my job. And so, I mean, it always hurts when you like someone and you realize they just really don't feel the same way about you through their actions. And so yeah, that hurt.
My question, so although you knew that it hurt, what did you do next? Like, did you just sit there, cry about it, mope about it, call his phone 20 times? Like, what? Of course not. I'm just... But, like, so what did you do to deal with that rejection? Because that was definitely reject.
I was really, y'all know what I do. I went to the gym, but I thought there was a class. And it was canceled, and I was like, "Why is nobody here? I'm trying to twerk this out."
So you were gonna go to like a Zumba or a dance class? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna go to a Zumba dance class. So that was closed, and I didn't really feel like being in the gym. I needed to be like really moving. So I went to the park. I threw on my headphones and I went running, and like I kept running. Like it wasn't my usual mile that I do my exercise. I just kept running and running and running and running and running and running and running. And like with each step and each lap, like I felt better and better and better. And that coinciding with the music I was listening to, Chance the Rapper, my baby daddy.
So you don't even need him because you got a whole baby daddy. You know Chance the Rapper cheating on you too, but I ain't gonna talk about that, girl.
No, I don't want Chance the Rapper. I want him to be happy. I really respect your household, Chance, and his soon-to-be fiance and his daughter. Long story short, basically I ran because that releases endorphins or whatever to make you feel happy. And that it didn't make me feel super happy. It just made me even out, like not feel like bad anymore. And then I put on Chance the Rapper, and you know his music is kind of gospel, kind of like not gospel. It's like who I am. And then I also put on gospel music, and I was praying, and I'm like asking God to just like, you know, if someone's for me, let them be in my life. And if they're not, just please take them out of my life. Just take them out. And so I really need that alone time with myself, and I just really need to do the things that make me feel better. And I was really just like, okay, I had to start talking to myself like, okay, you good, you're worth it. Like I just think about all the good things about myself. Call me right now.
The fact that he doesn't have a name in your phone,
Wow, timing.
Speaking of,
but no, that's crazy.
I kind of want to answer though.
You answered in the podcast?
Should I see what he said?
Yeah, come on.
Sure.
Hello? Hey.
What are you doing?
In the middle of a podcast.
Every time I call, you always busy.
You always busy.
Whatever. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
You see, if he really cared about me, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm glad you do your
thing.
podcast."
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
God,
okay, let's move on.
I can feel that. Like sometimes when a guy rejects you, it hurts your pride. Well, at least for me, it hurt my pride. Like I was dating this guy for 6 months, you know, going strong 6 months in the game. You know, I kind of befriended this person, kind of shared my secrets, you know, told this person a lot of things. And, you know, we kind of just had this connection. Yeah, it was like, okay, yeah, I like him, he like me. You know, I met his family, just everything was going good. And then 6 months just went ghost. And for some of y'all who don't know what ghost means, he just disappeared off the planet.
I think all women know what ghost means. Like,
stop, you know, returning my calls, my texts.
That is weird.
You know, just
that happened to me.
Just disappeared. And it hurt my pride. Because I was just like, I felt like, you know, I'm a good person, I'm a good girl.
Right.
And I was like going for myself. I'm, you know, faithful, loyal, supportive, you know, fun. And I feel like I had given my all to this person, and
they tripping. I would definitely wipe you up in like 3.5 seconds.
But that was my pride. You know, my pride had kicked in. And I was like, you know what? Okay, was I really supportive? Was I really, you know, did I really do everything that I could have in this relationship?
Self-evaluation.
And you know, I had to face the truth. I had to look at the person in the mirror, and I didn't.
I really like the way you spun that around. You a genius. Like, That was beautiful.
You know, I just had to say, okay, you know what? I can't improve on this. I can't improve on that. I mean, it didn't change the hurt, the pain.
Exactly.
Wait, so you think that's why he went ghost, or you just thought he was tripping?
You know, to this day, I do not know. So and that's what I think. That's what I
heard from him to this day.
I heard from him, but we just had
never talked about that.
He tried to meet up with me for coffee, and I was just like, nah, I'm good. Like I'm so over it. I'm
exactly
happy with who I am. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. I'm good.
And since we're on the topic of like being rejected by men, like I experienced something very similar to that recently as well, and I would like to say that disguised rejection. So it's like you're dating someone and quote unquote they're always there for you when it matters for big events, so to speak, but on a day-to-day basis they're always busy. They never have time for you, and it's like even when so just recently started dating someone and we were dating, they came when it most mattered for my birthday. We had an amazing time, but it's like now that we're dating, we schedule plans and dates, and it's like, of course, they're a very, very busy person. They own their own company right now, so they are always working. But I feel
you really care about somebody. You gonna make the time.
You get 2 hours of sleep. Like, okay, we good. Like,
I gotta talk to this person before I go to sleep. Like, I gotta get their voice.
No, granted, I do talk to them at night. Okay, maybe y'all know I'm just a little crazy too at the same time. Y'all know. So y'all know women. Y'all know a guy can give you the moon and the stars, and you like, I want the galaxy, the planets,
but honestly, you know when a guy. Yeah. We all have those guys who would do anything for us.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know that they want to be with you when you know, like, your thirst and they thirst is both thirsty.
Mutual.
Yeah, right.
Mutual thirst stations.
Mutual thirst. Then it's like I think that's when husband's there. You know.
Exactly. So it's like he's like, I'm always busy, and whenever you call I am there, but it's like when we schedule, actually make arrangements to like meet, have a date, it's like I'm always busy, or the meeting went late, and it's like that rejection that I feel. So at first, to channel it, I was like, I used to just get really furious, like, but then I was just like, I'm just gonna have to pull a you on you, like, so I countered it with like, okay, with my perception, instead of getting angry now, I'm just going to withdraw from the situation, and I'll step back just as much as you. So the effort that you put out there, I'll put it out there the same, mutually. So if it's not mutual, then I'm not going above and beyond and clean. Like you were saying earlier, I could have had I'm a busy woman just like you're a busy man. So I could have had, I went to 2 meetings. We could have scheduled a meeting. Exactly. I could have shot some stuff, wrote up some content, but I cleared my day, my time, my valuable time.
That's what be getting me.
For you, and you rejected me, and then now a whole day has gone down the track.
Yeah, now you mad because you like, shit, I could have done this.
Yes, it's the principle. I don't care that we didn't hang out, but let me know. Have some decency. And then I could have...
Be respectful.
Yes, be respectful. And I could have accomplished X, Y.
So did you feel rejected or not? Or nah?
At first I did, but I think it was based off of my perception. Because in the beginning when it happened, I was just like, oh my gosh, why would you stand? I am me. Like Beyonce say, who do you think I am? I am not your average. You need to. So I felt my pride. So I was letting the ego take over how I felt. And then I just had to step back and assess the situation, because there's been times that they've asked me, like Kobe was saying earlier, that was I giving it my all? Was I doing? And which I thought I was, but then when I really look back and assess the entire situation, I wasn't putting out my all, because my main focus right now is what I'm building. And so then now, as it happens more frequent, as it happens more recently, the more recent situations and scenarios that happen, I don't feel rejected. Like, I just feel like, okay, you don't hang out, that's fine. I'm gonna, now I know, and I don't even, it's almost sad because I don't put my all into it, because I'm thinking in the back of my mind,
that's what I was about to say.
I may get rejected.
But that's the scary thing. It's like, okay, y'all both were saying, like, I don't know if I gave my all or not. And I asked myself the same thing, like, you know, I want to give this person my all, like, but it's so hard to give someone your all when they're not giving you their all. So it's just like you hold yourself back, like. So I don't know if it's good to still give your all when they're not, or to just do the same, like.
And I think it goes off what you were saying. You'll know when the thirst is mutual.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
that's. I just feel like maybe this isn't the person or the right thirst. So, and that's okay. And just like if you were to be rejected from a job, it's okay. You're not, or that position that you want, it doesn't make you any less of a person just because it just means that situation or that person is just not the right one for you.
I believe that. Did y'all have any other scenarios that maybe, that if you really dig deep and think like, how have you gotten over that rejection?
I guess one for me was the transition to, I guess, adult life, and just the countless of rejections that you will experience. So even moving out from high school, the transition to college, and I've always been a basketball player, and throughout my entire career playing basketball, I was always either a lead scorer, team captain, some kind of accolade, all-star team, something that was just on the higher end of basketball association. And so when I went to college, I had to adapt tremendously because it was a whole nother ballgame. You wasn't just the great one, it was like a team full of the great ones from all over the country, all over the world. Actually, we had a couple of people from Dominican Republic, Nigeria, that was on our team. So it was just like the entire world. And so it's like, I remember my freshman year, true story, I'm not making this up. It was this one girl, we played the same exact position. My average was way better than her. My scoring average. Hopefully she ain't listening to this podcast. If so, I don't care.
I'm saying, I be like, I need to care what I'm saying.
So, dang, and the coach might listen to this podcast. Oh well,
it's real. They better be.
But anyways, it just threw me because.
But this is how you feel.
So this is really real.
Yeah.
I'm about to let y'all know the naked truth.
Okay.
So
we naked.
I was just like, I felt that I should have at the time been given more credit than what I was given, and then weirdest thing. This was at a time when natural wasn't really in. It was like the very beginning part of being natural. When this kind of has, everybody's like, being natural. What does that have to do with basketball? Right, y'all. So
everything.
Exactly. So I had actually transitioning into college. I had been wanting to go natural, shave my head for the longest. Now I didn't do the like fade shave, but I just did the big chop where I had a little baby fro. It was still a fleek or whatever.
I remember the baby fro.
The baby fro. Yes. And rejections from that alone was just, my family rejected that heavily. But going into school, playing on the basketball team, my coach stated that she liked the other players' hair. So that's why she played her. She's like literally as we would be jogging down the court, she'd be like, look at such and such's ponytail as it's swinging down the court as she's running. That's a D1 ponytail.
Oh my God.
Wow, that is crazy. She's a black coach at a black university. Exactly. And you're talking about the hair coming through our scalp.
Just kind of goes to the Olympics. How everybody was talking about Gabby's hair, Gabby Douglas' hair. Like our own
she's a
people
superhuman
reject, and how they talk about Ivy Blue's hair. Just the rejection
her
that
facial features
African American women have to face just because of who we are, our natural features. It's like, this hair grew out of my head. Why is anything wrong with it? I mean, we're not targeting or rejecting any other cultures because of something that God has blessed them to grow out of their body the way it naturally does. And so I went into a slight depression, and I remember I didn't get hardly any playing time my freshman year, and then I think it was just one thing led to another. So although I wasn't feeling confident and secure, so it weighed on my self-esteem. So I wasn't giving it my all in practice, and so I wasn't performing or no longer playing basketball to the best of my ability. And I went through that for like a couple of years. Like, I literally fell out of love for the game of basketball. it was a very, very dark time of my life. But then I realized, like, and it was almost, I don't even want to say too late. It was just at the end of my college career, my season, my time of being in college. Like, when my academic career was about to be over, and I finally came to like a realization, because rejection was happening outside of just the court. And then I just had to think, it's all about perception. Like, what you may perceive to be beauty is completely contrary. That's why we all have a type. And what his type may be, or her type may be something completely different. That was a way, and I wish I would have known that then, and I could have channeled that, and I would have excelled a lot more further in my life, my career, than what I did. And it's just like, you have to have really, really thick skin. You can't have thin skin in the industry of whatever you're trying to achieve or accomplish. So that's a way I overcame it. Granted, it was after season, and it's actually just now really coming into my own right now. But it was all about perception, and then being aware of my emotions. I used to try to suppress my emotions and act like they didn't matter to me. Like, I didn't care that anybody thought this way, or I didn't feel sad, I didn't feel insecure. I used to just try to suppress that feeling, like that, to pretend that it didn't even exist. But now, knowing that when you become aware of your emotions, and you actually acknowledge, if you're feeling sad about being rejected, or if you're feeling left out about being rejected, if you're feeling just downright angry and ready to blow some stuff up, then acknowledge that. Exist in that emotion for a little bit, but then you have to go to that crossroad, and it's either you're gonna make a left turn or you're gonna make a right turn. Are you gonna go left and blow stuff up, be sad, cry, weep all day, or are you gonna go right and go the correct way, and how to actually address and overcome and deal with the rejection that you have faced, and let yourself know you can't be defined by that.
That's crazy. That, you know what, that actually brings me to something like different. Because I'm thinking about, like, depression. Because you said that you almost went into depression, or did you go into depression?
I did.
And I think rejection, that is, like, one of the components of being depressed. And you were saying, like, you have two roads to go. You could either keep going into that, feeling that rejected state, or you could figure out ways to overcome it, which we're trying to tell you guys how to do. But it's so important. Like, I wasn't thinking about it, but people who are depressed become suicidal.
Absolutely.
And so it's so crucial to make sure that you are addressing this rejection, because it could take you out of this world. Because that definitely happened to my mother's friend. It happens to a lot of people. And it's like, if you don't really acknowledge what you're going through and make a conscious decision to take that left or the right way, then you could really be killing yourself.
Exactly, because I had been coming from a background where all I known was the limelight, the spotlight. I never known the feeling of what it felt like to be picked last on the team. Like, you know, when everybody's picking somebody, and I was the last one to be picked, and I'm just like, how do I go from, like, I just didn't even know how to psychologically register being at the bottom, because it was something I never experienced before. So I really went to a dark place, and it's just like, I used to try to suppress it like it didn't bother me, but if I would have just acknowledged it, and like you were just saying, went the right way instead of going down the left.
But luckily you turned it around, because for some people they get too caught up.
That's true.
And then it ends into disaster. But we're here to tell you guys, even if you're in that hole, you can still climb your way out of there, because there is light. You just have to change your perspective and acknowledge.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, wow. I mean, I was one who did the same. You know, I let my rejection kind of fester and grow, and it kind of showed in different ways as well. You know, it became rebellion and jealousy and unforgiveness. But I mean, like you, Tiff, I've had rejection in dating. But my biggest rejection came from my biological father. And I'm in a family with what people call a mixed family. It's my mother, my stepfather, and my
step siblings, but I mean, to me, they are my mother, my father, and my siblings. But yeah, I didn't grow up with my biological father, and it wasn't until I was about 19, 20 that I really kind of felt the effects of it, and I was like, okay, you know what, this hurts. Like this, I do kind of feel some way about this, and through my relationship with God, that kind of changed how I felt. I mean, I just, as I look back, I did kind of feel unwanted and jealousy to Eve, because I know that he has other kids, and I felt jealousy towards them, like people I haven't even met.
Right.
Wow. But I just was jealous, like they get to have this relationship with him that I never did.
Right. Do they live with them?
Mm-hmm.
Where
so he has his own family.
Oh.
But
does he like not reach out to you or something? Is that?
I mean, that their relationship is not there, and I don't know why. Him and my mother dated, and then he left and went to Dallas, or he went to Dallas, or he lives in the outskirts of Dallas, and she lived in Houston or moved to Houston, and so they were just two different places, and that relationship never developed. So I knew him up until I was 5, but then after that, I don't. Just it never grew. But I don't know. I felt, like I said, unwanted, and just really in my relationship, as I got older in my relationship with guys, I felt like I had to have that validation, like I had to hear them or hear that, okay, I like, that security, because I didn't, get that as a, and I mean, like I said, it wasn't until I got older that I was able to realize and kind of understand and see the true effects of that rejection. But I mean, I think it just goes back into your identity, who you define your identity in, or what defines your identity. And for me, it's God. He, because like he has that unconditional love. So no matter what I do or what is going on, God, I'm loved and accepted by God. So
I agree with that strongly, because I really agree with that. The rejection from a family member, that's really intense. Because same situation, well, not same, but similar situation. I didn't grow up with my biological mother, and I often recall asking my father a lot of times, to backtrack, so when I was 2, my biological mother, I haven't lived with her since actually age 1. That's when my parents separated, and my mom, she chose the life, well, not necessarily chose the life, but she got addicted to substance. So her life pattern strayed her very, very far away from me. And being the firstborn, going to live with my father, so men are already not emotionally equipped to handle children, and let alone a female child. So it was just like, he was doing the best that he could. And I would always ask my father, like, when's my mother coming home? I forget the exact words. I'm trying to be verbatim. But I remember, but long story short, he just used to say that it didn't have anything to do with you. It was her own choice. Whenever she comes back, welcome her back. And he was always really gracious. And when I would always try to have conversations with him, I felt that he would reject me too, because he didn't want to talk about it, and then I would want to talk to her, and she was rejecting me literally, and then I would just feel really rejected from like everybody, because even fathers, they're not really emotional creatures, and they don't, like, you usually go to your mom when you want to have girl talk, gossip, and all that type of, so I was longing for that connection with a person, a family member. And so that's when I would always ask, so when's my mom coming back? Because I couldn't have those conversations with him, so I was trying to reach out. And so I remember I was like, I want to talk to someone. So feeling rejected by him, and then being rejected by my mother, I would go into these like emotional rants. And so that's when I knew that I had to I had to be compassionate with myself and give myself positive self-talks, because you can, when you're feeling rejected, you can often start blaming yourself for situations that have nothing to do with you, situations and pains that are stir up that's really affecting your day-to-day and your interaction with people and at school. Like, I just found myself, my grades wasn't up to par just because of the rejection. It was just transitioning over in many different areas of my life. So I'm an optimistic person naturally, so thank God that I was optimistic enough, and I really think that God saw my optimism. My optimistic mindset, and He blessed me with like an amazing family. Like, I really like to say that I'm the definition of a village. It takes a village to raise a child, because had it not been for my grandmother, my aunts, my uncles, just everybody pitching in and helping me out in those areas where I felt lacked, then who knows? So I just, like you were saying, you have to find your identity in God, and I really found my identity, and I think God manifested Himself as the people and the friends, the beautiful people that I needed. So definitely agree with that. And the compassionate, showing compassion to yourself.
Why am I crying? That's so great. That's amazing. Wow. Y'all have anything else? Y'all just want to spilling over here? I'm like... If not, though, I want us to go ahead and go through the solutions again, so people could take it down step by step for things that they could take home for themselves.
Get your pen, your pad.
Get your pen and your pad. We about to drop some gems on the tools that will help you
overcome rejection.
So one, it's all about perception. You can go into any situation, and based on your perception will determine the outcome. So now it's going to be a battle, uphill battle. Sometimes it may come a little more easier based on if the rejection is a macro or a micro rejection, but all about that perception. Like, now, sometimes I like to say I don't even face rejection, because I don't even see it as that. I just see it as a learning lesson.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. And then you have to be aware of your emotions, the pain that you may feel, the happiness, the sadness, the anger, whatever it may be. Just be, because some people actually get happy. They laugh, like laughing at the haters, laughing at the rejection. So like, you might need to turn yourself to, every time you get rejected, you laugh at it to bounce on into it.
I have a question though. Like, when you say like tap into your emotions, how do you stop yourself from getting too deep? Like, okay, you identify these emotions, and then what?
So once you identify the emotion, so like, say if it's a sad emotion, so cry. Let yourself cry. If you need, I always like to give myself time. So if I don't want to go through this mope, I'll give myself a full 24 hours to be sad as I want, be mad as I want, and then the next, when I wake up, I can't be feeling that same. Like, I literally have to, even if you still emotionally feel it inside of you, you have to do everything to counter that. So even like you were saying, you go on runs, you can use affirmations, prayer, whatever it is. Don't keep addressing it anymore. Like, let yourself be aware of it, know that it exists, and then once you give maybe some people need an hour to be mad, some people may need longer than that based on what the situation is. Then after that, no more allowing yourself to feel that feeling, not accepting yourself, allowing yourself to accept that feeling, that emotion. Right. So when you accept it in the beginning, and then after you accept it, after your time, it may vary for everybody. Like, but there's no way you should be going on for like 2 months still mad because
that's true.
Your boss promoted Susie and didn't promote you. Like, you might need to, in 2 months you could have found a whole nother job. So.
Right, you could start your own business.
Exactly.
But what you kind of made me think of another point of how to kind of get over rejection or deal with rejection. Because when you're saying, like, you can't stay in that slump, and you're doing the things to, running and exercising and all that. But another thing that I was thinking about is just being thankful for what you do have. So like you were saying, you didn't have your mother there, but you were thankful for your aunts and your uncles and your friends. So it's like once you start counting your blessings, you can't really be mad no more. It's like,
true.
Wait, look, I have all this. I live in a house. You have your own apartment. Okay, so that's not really rejection. Like, sorry. Like, dang, like, you have to just count your blessings and be like, that will automatically make you feel better. You can't be, like, thankful, like, ooh, look at the sun around me. Look at my beautiful friends. Look at my mom, look at my dad. You know, look, I'm healthy. I don't feel bad. And then be mad.
Exactly. So start acknowledging and putting all your attention on the things you should be thankful for.
Yes. And I would like to add that, so rejection or rejecting someone is the action, but the state of being rejected that's a choice. You have to you decide if you want to feel rejected or not.
Right.
Exactly. That's so true. That's so true. You don't even have to be rejected.
It's a state.
It's a state.
Rejection is a state of being.
It's a wow.
I love that.
That is so. Oh my God.
I think
that's
you need
so
to say
amazing.
that one more time. I don't think they heard you.
Say it one more time.
One more time.
Tap your neighbor.
Rejection is a state of being.
So you trying to tell me
Mm-hmm.
that when I got that letter that says you are just not fit for the job, I wasn't rejected.
Like that email? Yeah, I get them emails too.
I get all these. I'm like, damn.
Thank you for submitting your application. But at this time,
Unfortunately,
we have decided to go with another candidate who fit
Who fit the position? What you mean fit?
fit the skills or the qualifications of the
Fit your qualifications.
Right.
Okay. So they rejected you, but you don't have to feel rejected.
I don't have to be rejected.
Yes.
Right.
Boom.
Exactly.
And when you are rejected, that's when you experience all these emotions, all these doubts. So it's up to you to even be rejected.
I don't even feel like I've ever been rejected in my life now.
Like, what is reject? Like, nobody ever rejected me a day. Like, what is that? That's so cool.
But you know what? Like, wow. You know what? Like, I don't know if this for if it's for you or not. I'm just thinking like if I was in your shoes when I'm thinking about your dad. Like, sometimes when you are rejected, you know, sometimes it's for the best. Like, I don't know, because I know your father is such like an amazing dad, and your siblings, and like when I see your parents together, like talking on the phone, like in the car, and they about to see each other, it's like, wow, they really love each other. You can see that love, and it's like maybe sometimes it's meant to be that way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, can you imagine yourself without your
like,
dad?
This is the way that it's supposed to be.
Exactly. I agree. I totally agree.
So sometimes rejection is what's best for you.
Yeah.
You need
It's
it.
the way God's saying.
I think about
That's
that often.
Yeah.
I think about because like spinning the whole scenario, I thought about that in my life, and I was thinking about this weird the other day. I was thinking, what if I had been raised by my mother, and then I picked up all those negative habits? Who knows where I would be right now? So I'm thinking, like,
deep.
Yeah.
thank God that the situation played out the way it did, because who knows what life would be.
I think about that all the time too. Not on that larger scale, but like I was trying to stay in DC so bad. I was applying for jobs. Like I knew I had like jobs that I was overqualified for, and I couldn't get a job to stay there for the life of me. But had I been in DC, we probably wouldn't be here right now.
Exactly.
We probably wouldn't be having Inspire Fire, which is our. I feel like it's our purpose.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not even rejection. It's like I think
It's like those are like roadblocks
right.
to get you.
You ain't
God,
supposed to be
Detours.
there.
It's
Yes.
detours. God is detouring you.
It was like, why are you trying to get your way over there?
That's not your path. That's
Right.
Not
Right. We got something better.
So if you ever feeling rejected, just know that that's a part of something better or something
that's
to
the
push
universe or something to push you.
Work you, make you go harder for yourself.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
so that's perception. so y'all just got a part 2. So let's go back to run through real quick. So perception is all about the perception. How you're be aware of your emotions. Show compassion to yourself. Don't talk yourself out, telling yourself you were silly to think that you could ever accomplish or achieve something like that.
Know your self-worth.
Know your self-worth. Absolutely. Be proud of who you are. Like,
Right.
because if you're proud of who you are, do you think Kanye would get mad if somebody rejected his song?
Yeah.
He would just go put it on title and be like, "Get you
Nah,
out
he
of
would
here."
get mad, but he would go
He
back
would.
and-
Yeah, he ran. You're right.
He would go on his little rants, and then
He gonna tell you why you was wrong.
Yes.
Like, maybe that's what I should do with all the guys.
That's what
Like,
it is.
look, I'm a millionaire now, and I own my own business, and I'm a boss bitch. Sorry, queen. It's like, this is what you missed out on my Kanye rant.
Right.
I'm sorry. Y'all, let's bleep that out. I don't cuss this much.
And ultimately, you gotta learn from rejection.
Yes. That was awesome. All right, guys. So that was it. Please leave a comment below and let us know how you like our podcast. If you have any questions, please tell us how you overcome your rejection. We want to hear all about it. And be sure to follow us on all our social media at Inspire Fire Daily on Instagram.
Oh.
All right.
Alrighty. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Peace and love, Royal Ones.
Oh, yeah, we got to end it with an affirmation.
Oh yeah, we gotta end up with an affirmation for sure. 3 affirmations.
3 affirmations. You go first.
Alrighty. Since our podcast was about rejection or whatever, you know what? I'm proud of who I am.
Ooh, I am proud
Of who I am.
I am loved and accepted.
Ooh, yes you are, cause I love the heck out of you.
I am more powerful than I can even fathom.